Now, when people do it to you, you talk about them. You call them toxic. You call them abusive. You say they're emotionally unavailable. You done looked up all the terms on social media, but you don't realize that it's you too. Welcome to the Black Mother Wound podcast, where we center the stories of Black women as we heal from the painful relationships with our mothers. Welcome to the Black Mother Wound podcast. I am your host, Jennifer Arnice. What's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back. Yes, I missed last week. I ain't even got no excuse for you because your girl was down bad. I got sick last week from eating a combination of the wrong things, and I was doubled over, and there was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do last week. But I'm back. Happy to be here. Feeling so much better. I hope y'all are doing well. My birthday is in a couple of weeks. I'm so excited. I have not one plan, but we're going to see. I might have something special for y'all for my birthday. We're going to see. So stay tuned here on the podcast and in Instagram, which I know I haven't really been on IG lately at all, but I'll be back. So just be on the lookout. So today I want to talk about something that I don't think I've spoken about it as a full episode, but it's definitely a part of how the Black mother wound impacts the relationship you have with yourself and the relationship you have with others in a super major way. Some of you, if you've been doing this work a while, then you know that it's happening. Some of y'all might not even know that it's happening. And even if you think you know that it's happening, you are probably unaware of how deep this shit runs, how deep it runs, which does make me want to cuss somebody out. It does. But we're just going to move through that, and we're going to go to how we can help ourselves. So in today's episode, what I want to talk about is masking. I think most recently people are talking about masking, personality masking in terms of neurodivergence, ADHD, and things like that. And there's also new research showing that ADHD, neurodivergence, ADD are related to CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which is what the fuck we have. So all that goes together, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about masking. For those of you all that don't know, I'm not talking about masking tape, but I want you to think about masking tape. Masking tape is opaque. It's not clear. It covers things, right? So when I talk about masking, personality masking, what I'm referring to is the inability to present yourself in a consistently authentic way, right? That's what I'm talking about when I talk about masking. And this is something that happens because of it's a survival technique. It's how we learn to survive living in the house with our mothers. And we learned it from her. Everything that's happening to us as far as our mother wound, it's based off of two things. It's based off of our lived experience, and it's based off of her lived experience. And masking for Black women, Black people, is such a huge thing. I think when we look at it from a work or career standpoint, we talk about code switching. And Black people think of it as like it's a skill that we yield for our benefit. It also has a detrimental effect on us because we forget who we are. And when you don't know who you are, you don't have a true compass. Okay. So we're going to talk about masking, the impacts of masking, how it shows up, and what you can do about it. Right. So let's jump right in. Like I said, masking is when you have never learned how to be yourself and you don't even know it. And not even do you oftentimes not know that you're not being yourself. You are deathly afraid of being yourself. And I'm talking about this because y'all know when I'm going through it, y'all are going through it. And as kind of, I want to say like out of the closet as I am about my life and myself and my lived experiences, as I shed the layers of my mother wound, a new version of me comes to the surface. I don't even say a new version, a version that has been hidden comes to the surface. And that's really the space that I'm in right now. I'm in this space of like afraid to show certain things about myself that, and nothing is even wrong with them. It's not like I'm a serial killer, but the fear that it won't be accepted, that I will be rejected. And it's so crazy because I'm like, Jennifer, you've been doing this work for like 10 years and you still get that feeling that people won't be there for you. They won't understand you. They're going to be like, how dare she? How could she? And I just, even listening to myself, I'm like, bitch, you are making a much bigger deal of all of this, right? And I need to chill out. I know I need to chill out. So this is really a part of, this is for me as well as for y'all, right? And some of the ways that masking shows up, right? Because you feel like you're yourself. You feel like you're doing everything that you should be doing. And I have 3 categories right here for how masking is showing up in Black women's lives. We have the good girl, who's also the obedient girl. She's the overgiver. We have the smart girl, who is the overachiever. And then we have the independent girl, who is the under-asker. Which one are you? Or are you a combination of all 3? I think at this season in my life, I am still working my way out of the levels of being a good girl or overgiver, because it's like I want to be what other people need me to be. And that is a part of codependence. And it is such a wicked trap because you feel like you're doing it because you're being a good person. And I almost want to say, like, if you're doing something because it makes you feel like a good person, there's a level of performance and there's a level of manipulation, which means there's a level of fear. Because why are you worried about being a good person, Jennifer? Why are you worried about if people think that you care about them when you've done more than enough to show that, right? And I'm talking about this from the aspects of, in this community and how I have branded and marketed myself as, big sis, but also as an educator, a teacher, and a coach. And I'm at a space now where I want to be more things for myself. And it makes me feel very selfish because I'm like, if I start to share content and talk about things on social media that are not directly related to helping someone else, that I'm being self-centered and I'm being selfish, which is definitely what I learned. That is how I was kind of, fear beat me into not being myself as a young person. That's like, oh, you're selfish. You're only worried about what you want. And that's rooted in the church. We know that. And I want to do that with, like, most people don't know I'm an artist, that I paint, that I draw, that I write things. I write things beyond just content for healing and personal development, right? That I love photography and images and telling stories with video. And I love being saucy and sensual and all of those things. And it's like, Jennifer, you really need to, like, I can only teach y'all some of this stuff through living it myself. But I'm like, well, I don't want to leave anybody behind. I don't want anybody to feel bad. All of that is the conflict I have between my authentic self and masking. So like that gives y'all kind of a really clear example of what I'm talking about and how it shows up. and how you can really be battling yourself with it. And like I said, there's some new things coming. And I'm telling y'all this also so I can just out myself even more. So when new content shows up and you know what it is, because I'm a little nervous, but I'm also really excited. Ooh, that feels better. Now, what I'm doing right now is also a part of pulling my community in closer, finding safety, exposing vulnerability, and also knowing that I have my own back, even if y'all don't, but I know y'all do. Like, as I'm saying this, I'm like, girl, you sound so silly. That's why it's really important to get this shit out. So that's kind of where I am. I want you to kind of assess your life and see how, are you the good, obedient girl? Are you the smart girl? Are you the independent girl? Where are you and how do you mask? Right. And all the things I talk about, these go beyond Black mother wound. Even if you're not Black, if you don't have a mother wound, masking can easily become a part of your life when you never felt safe growing up, when you didn't feel safe to be yourself, when you weren't heard, seen, validated, nurtured. You take on a persona that protects you, it cloaks you, right? Because you don't have the authority or autonomy to keep yourself safe. But we've been working on safety, right? We've been working on this, and healing is an action verb. So unmasking is a practice. It's not something that you do one time. It's something that you have to consistently pull the layers back, get to another version of yourself, get comfortable there, learn more, heal more, and then realize, oh, there's another layer, pulling off other things. That's why like healing is never over. And healing isn't about fixing yourself. It is about changing your perspective. Unmasking is about changing your perspective on who you are and changing your perspective on how you care about how you are perceived, right? So being perceived and masking go hand in hand, right? Along with in codependence, I feel is like the umbrella over that, right? So when I think about masking, it's like you are the master code switcher, okay? You are able to come in and assess every situation, know what's needed of you to be safe in that environment. It makes you hyper fucking aware. Like you are a master. Okay. And it's funny because y'all know I have a day job, right? And I was talking to one of my homegirls and I was like, my skill set that I realized that it's like a superpower, but I don't want it to be a superpower. So I'm not going to use that word. But my skill set is managing difficult people. And I'm able to do that because I'm so aware of how I'm perceived that I can move in and out of spaces, know what is expected beforehand, de-escalate, escalate, guide. I'm like an air traffic controller at work. And that's why when the day is over, my ass is so fucking tired, right? And I don't want to be good at that. But when we look at Black women in the workplace, that is usually what we know how to do. We know how to maneuver interpersonal relationships. But what happens is we are usually left at the end of the line. And I don't want that for us anymore. I want us to show up as we are, create safe spaces for ourselves, and understand that a way is always being made for the most true, authentic version of ourselves. It just takes some courage to step out and live in it, right? Some of the things we're hiding behind our mask are fear and anxiety. Okay. What's going to happen if I do this? What is going to be the impact? Will I be able to handle it? That fear and anxiety, emotional exhaustion, like I spoke about, always being on go, right? Hiding something, showing something else, and maneuvering that creates an emotional exhaustion, right? It creates resentment because it's like you see other motherfuckers out here doing what they want to do, be themselves, and here you are trying to be a good person, trying to do the right thing, and under it your ass is mad as hell, right? And you also disconnect from your body. When you're masking, you're not really in the present moment. You're trying to protect your future peace, but it's at your own demise. You know what I'm saying? And you are constantly abandoning yourself. And that's something is like we don't even know that we're abandoning ourselves because it's so second nature, and it is how we have survived and how we have also excelled, right? And coming out of that is really abusive when we abandon ourselves, and being able to quiet our minds, reconnect to our bodies, put your hand on your heart, go into that space where you're in reparenting mode, right? And be like, wow, have I really left you behind? You know, are you stranded? We've stranded our inner little girl. She's stranded. Okay. And unmasking is how you come back and find her and give her a voice. That's how you reconnect with your intuition, with your wisdom, with your passion, with your talent, with your gifts, with your future, with your ability to manifest the life that you really want. You can't really maintain a happiness or a joy or a love if you're not being your authentic self. Now, what happens is we often want other people to respond well when we are ourselves. And we're like, oh, I have to make sure all of these things are in order before I do that. And which is still a part of your codependence. This is part of the bullshit, right? Your unmasking is going to require you to like throw the middle finger up at people. It's going to require you to choose yourself, which means possibly rejecting others. And I hope by now you know that it's worth it, right? I hope by now that you know that it's worth it. If you're new here, just keep listening or go back to start at episode 1 and come back and holler at me. Okay. But yeah, it's a form of emotional abuse when you're masking and you don't even allow yourself to be yourself. Okay. That's again, y'all know I talk about how we're the villain in our own story. In situations like that, you are absolutely the villain. You are the person you are the weapon formed against you. It's not other people not liking you or accepting you because you're caught up in that. Well, they don't like me and they don't accept me and they're going to say this and they're going to do that. You want to control them. You are using masking as a form of manipulation and performance to control others. Now, when people do it to you, you talk about them. You call them toxic. You call them abusive. You say they're emotionally unavailable. You done looked up all the terms on social media, but you don't realize that it's you too, because your thing is this good intentions and being a good person. That is some bullshit. It's all performative. Just like the nice guy is performative. Like he's such a nice guy. He's the nice guy. But really he's just using that to get what he wants. Okay? Instead of just being a good person. Because you don't have to question that. All right? I think that what is really important here is to understand that it also takes time. There are levels to it. Just like there are levels to all healing. And what I want you to begin to investigate is before even showing the world who you are, I want you to begin to investigate, who are you? What are the things that light you up? What are the things that get on your nerves? What do you want to spend your time doing? What are the things you wish you could say And who do you want to say them to? Like, I really want you to do, this is homework, okay? A real assessment and comb through, because it is very easy for Black women to think they are keeping it real and being authentic, especially when they're assertive and they tell people off and they got me fucked up and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And you think you're not masking, but you are, because you can't be Miss Get Everybody Together all the fucking time. There has to be another side to you. There has to be another perspective of who you are and how you show up in the world. Besides you always trying to find out who you can get together, right? So that's what I have for y'all today. We are taking off the mask. It can be messy. It can be uncomfortable. Lord knows I'm in the midst of it right now. My God. So I'm like, what's going to happen? Are people still going to like my content? Are they still going to listen to the podcast? Are they going to be interested in my, like, me as a person if I'm not always trying to teach them something? Like, this concept of being selfish is very hard for me. It is so hard, and I'm doing everything I can to get past it, including this episode. You know what I'm saying? But this is just the work. This is where we are right now, right? So take an honest assessment and ask a friend. Ask someone that you feel safe with how they perceive you and what are some things they may see about you that they would like to see more of, but they know you hide it, right? And then find out how people can support you in coming out and unmasking. Because y'all know, I always say, this is why community is important. Starting with people that feel safe, taking small steps, and being there to support yourself so you always feel safe in these new experiences. Okay? I love you dearly. I will see you next week. Don't let anybody play in your fucking face. And we'll see you later. Bye.